Let's dive on into it. It's best of 5 action as well. As in the top left, we are going to start off with the red Terran player. This is Bunny. He plays against the blue Protoss in the bottom right corner of the map, Creator. Alrighty then, guys. Best of 5 action continues right now. Love it. I'm very excited to see where we go with this. Such a cool matchup. Bunny and Creator, 2 players that have honestly had pretty okay years, just haven't super succeeded. 2 players where you put them up against each other. I couldn't pick a winner. 2 players who you put them up against a lot of other people, and I could see them beating pretty much anyone. Like, these guys can have some really good times. Creator obviously finished up top 4 recent GSL, so he absolutely has the ability. I mean, his GSL round of 8 was sick. Creator arguably, I think, has been a bit better than Bunny. Like I say, there's no doubt that Bunny can be very, very terrifying to play against. I think this series goes the way of if Bunny can take control early and do some cool early game pushes and mix those in, I think he's going to have a good time. I think if these games get more drawn out, I think Creator's going to be pretty sharp, and especially if he can get to those DTs that we saw Bunny struggling with against Trap. I think that's where Creator can absolutely excel, because I think Creator's already actually very comfortable in a later game. I don't think he's going to mess around with if he gets the chance to attack the carriers, he's going to take it as well. So yeah, I feel like if we get to a later stage scenario, then I do start to favor Creator even more so. Early game, I think that's Bunny's speciality. Bunny can also, like, it doesn't have to necessarily be like just winning the early game, but if you can get set up in the early game to then take momentum and then be the player that's dropping everywhere and being super active, then as Bunny, you can have a very good time into the mid and later game as well. It's just if the game slows down and Creator gets complete control of the game, that's when I just see Bunny's strengths really disappearing very quickly, you know? See what happens as we get going. Try Council, Nexus, continue to come through. As we just have ourselves a couple CCs coming up, the racks and the bunker coming in. Just gonna have that one in depth moving up right now. Again, a couple of probes coming out. Our blink is on the way. Warp gate's about halfway done. We'll just have that blink and the warp gate coming through. So Creator seems pretty settled in what he wants to do. We're going to see some 4 gates from Creator throughout the course of the series as well. Creator is the guy to kind of amp up the pressure a little bit early on. That robot facility comes through. We have our blink halfway done. Plus 1 attack on the engineering bay from Bunny is already on the way up as well. So we're getting that started. Stimpack just starting up also. And again, the barracks, marines, SCVs, everything kind of coming through for the moment. Getting things settled down as robotics facility will finish up very soon. The Adept going to try and shade toward the main base. A couple of marines still popping out. Another factory on the way as well. And we are very much set on just getting into that bio play factory to then move into starport and support units from there. And the blink is going to be pretty macro focused. 2 gates initially, now adding on a 3rd post 3rd Nexus. Bunny playing pretty macro once again. This is something he brought out against Trap, that very fast 3rd CC in that game number 2. And it's going to be something he brings out here in the very start of this series. So I'm going to try and mix in some greed. And that's where maybe Creator mixing in some 4-gate blinks would be really nice over the course of a series. Mixing some 4-gate blinks, try and get some wins if Bunny keeps on trying to be this greedy. Stim combat and +1 all coming up. Hallucination gets up to the top side. Stalker's trying to go after the SCV, not quite going to get there. One Stalker blinks away. Lots of Stalkers still trying to come through. Against Impact, Combat Shield +1. All of that continues as our charge and our Prism coming up from Creator. Prism's about halfway done. Marauder coming about again. Combat Shield about to finish. Concussive Shells coming up. Medivacs on the way through as our units continue in. Bunny, at some point, we'll maybe want to try and put a bit more pressure on. And these Stalkers are unable to pick up that single Marine here. The rest of the bio comes down to the low ground. The Immortal and the Charge coming online. The Robo Base halfway done. The extra gates are building. Our bio will once again take a step forward and chase away those few Stalkers. It's going to push those back very easily as we do turn back around to the third. Get rid of an Observer there. These two Medivacs will continue to just boost to the front. Start healing up some of this bio. Our charge will finish very shortly. You see the Sentry warping in. Colossus coming through. Again, Bio Army coming around the right-hand side at the moment. We have our +1 armor upgrade also coming by, so just bringing that +1 armor up. Couple Widow Mines on the way through. SCVs are producing. This Bioforce ready to take maybe a bit of a stim into the third, but there's a Prism in the main, and that's going to be Creator striking at the perfect moment just as Bunny's ready to pounce himself. Creator is going to hop on into the main base. And a couple of nice Widow Mine shots there, and we are going to see the Prism suddenly cleaned up. Uh-oh, Prism, don't actually die. Prism, no! Creator, what are we doing? Too busy looking at the army on the other side of the map, I imagine. Bunny doesn't even need to engage this. He just got rid of the Prism. Fall back, get your reinforcements on the map, and then look to take a fight if you want to take a fight. Getting rid of the Prism is such a big deal. That's going to clog up Robo Facility build time, which wants to prioritize building Colossus right now. And it's also just going to mean you have no counterattack potential, so now Bunny can stay on the map. He can pick his fights. He can choose his moments without being dragged back home for the foreseeable future. And that is an amazing feeling for a Terran player, having that freedom if needed. Army still gathering. Temple Archives coming up to being about halfway done. Nexus halfway through. And +1 attack. The Extended Thermal Lance all coming in. We have our armor in our Ghost Academy building up as well. A couple of additional Vikings in production. Zella just comes through and is going to get rid of a Marine. So it's going to make an easy pickoff. It's not the biggest of deals though, as Creator still just focusing on those Colossus. He's got 2 of them out. Third one on the way. Maybe after that he can go back into the Prism. Get that rebuilt. Biomedivacs just going to come over. Again, got that Disruptor coming through. +1 attack coming in. Robo Facilities and Gateways still coming up. Also, +2 attack upgrade with a couple of Ghosts and Vikings. All continuing out. I guess forwards here. We're actually going to be seeing our Storm is coming up about halfway done. +1 attack about to finish as well. 2 more gateways, 3 more probes, a couple extra disruptors coming through. The Bioforce will open up this set of rocks. Better not. Okay, there we go. Starts with +2 attack upgrade. I was going to say he needs to try and keep up to date on his upgrades. Those disruptors are popping, that's going to help a lot. But that 5th base, maybe he needs to target for Bunny. He's going to be able to get down there, and Creator would have to come down a ramp to be able to fight into this army, which is just not going to happen. So that's an instant cancel. Bunny's now going to try and go up the ramp. The EMP is available. Actually drops the first EMP quite nicely. Hits the only high tempo that was there. Storm's not done, of course. Bunny doesn't necessarily know that. No, the Ghost from the side gets taken out. The Colossus are the saving grace at the moment, able to shoot from afar and kind of just scare this army back each and every time. Sleep Beacon coming up, Stargate coming through, our +2 attack upgrade coming in as our bio will unload. We'll get rid of the pylon. We can begin to press further forwards. A few Zelds are popping out as well. Everything gets cleaned up as another Zeld comes over. SCV's coming through. Vikings hanging about, going to drop a CC down at the front. A couple of disruptors and the +2 coming in. Our Stargate and Fleet Beacons on the way up. It's going to be seeing a couple of carriers. We'll start from creative. He can slow this game down enough to get his carrier count going. And I think he's going to end up in a very good place. It's one of the big benefits he could absolutely gain from this whole situation as our army works its way down to the south. Nexus going to be in some trouble there. Man, so many bases coming up top right, but I think Bunny's starting to send some units up there. It would be great to just knock those bases down, because I don't think there's realistically a defense creator in the top right now. Gets that little catch. It's going to be seen on Nexus coming up in the top right. So just going to swipe. Depot taking damage. Army in the center of the map too. We did get rid of one of those bases. Looking for the next one. I love this kind of full-on switch actually from Bunny to just go towards the top right base. He's going to find the next base here as well. So yeah, really kind of shutting these down. And yeah, his main army's over there as well. +1 air weapons coming through. Our carriers coming up. Dark Shrine on the way with our Stargate about to finish. +2 ship weapons and 3/3 upgrades still building on in. Our command center is still coming up as well. Nuke on the way. Missile turrets building. This army of Bunny is actually going to turn around and get an observer picked off. So it's going to get that grab. Disruptors going to land a couple of these units. Actually nice disruptor shots, but although we do lose the disruptors on the back of it, so Bunny's able to get some pickoffs in return. And now army on the right side still setting up as well. Another disruptor lurking over there. Bunny's going to try and grab this bottom base. Going to put Creator down to 4 bases and keep him there, which is such a big deal. No cancel there either. That is a kill. Bunny making plays right now. It does feel like Bunny's in the more comfortable position. However, the carrier count is growing, and if carriers get too high, it can be very tough for the Terran to deal with. I think Bunny's done everything very well so far, but he needs to figure out the carrier phase of this game and what he's going to do about it. Shot will land on the Ghost. Is trying to drop a nuke down. Easy way to clean up those nukes and not let them ever really get established. Bunny's still playing a couple different splits of the army. He's going to stim down here again. Craig just didn't see it coming. Going to get an Observer as well. Man, Observers keep dying too. How many have we lost this game? We lost 4. So yeah, fairly decent number. Obs aren't cheap. We actually have a new prison being built. EMPs here were actually pretty good on those little group of units, but we've got to run. We're going to get cornered in maybe no matter what here. As we scan, we see what's approaching. The rest of Bunny's on will start to come in along. Actually going to load what we can into the medevacs and just run for it. Now the Stalkers catch, and maybe this was the worst decision all along. He could have just jumped on the Stalkers or turned around and got those tech units. Like, even this, after the unsuccessful load up and unload, he's actually still going to get rid of a few units from the bottom side as well. He could have done so much more there. I think Bunny didn't realize quite the opportunity he had to maybe just dive one way instead of the other. Army still sets up in the center. Widowmine shot goes off. Missile turrets will be taking some lasers to the face, and we have a Protoss army that is approaching the front, but there is going to be the Liberators are going to keep this back. And can we deal with the carriers? More Vikings are on the way. Bunny needs to be able to fight those. That is going to be the secret of this. Just firing. The Archon's taking some damage. Carrier still building mothership on the way. Our Nexus is about to finish up as well. +2 web weapons coming by, +3 ship weapons from Bunny. Actually good upgrades in the sky from him, which generally will help. We nuke ourselves over to this direction, but looks as though Creator realizes where it's coming from. Disruptor shot is good for the kill. And unfortunately that will be the end of the attempted nuke once more. Ooh, Creator too good at shutting down the nukes. No excitement for us as DTs will be wanting to start making their plays. It's one of the things that Bunny really struggled with against Trap in that game too. And so very happy to see Bunny Creator making his way to these, because I think that's going to be a big step in the right direction for him to be able to have a good time here. He needs to start kind of pulling Bunny around, and those DTs are the perfect candidates to do such a thing. Stalkers want that Liberator, but one Stalker goes down. Liberator will now fall. Mothership pops out onto the map, and well, DTs don't really get any workers, and we're going to clean up all these DTs. Easy. Yeah, really easy. 11 probes actually going down as damage is done across the board. It is Bunny just finding some openings with libs to get some shots off. Just finding some decent success there as our ghost count continues to grow back up. Army over to the right hand side, we are making a push. And actually going to jump on this base. Creator is completely out of position, and nuke on the left side at the same time. No energy on this Nexus with the EMP, and we are going to be able to get rid of that. Creator's going to start launching a counter attack. Straight up through the middle, looks like the nuke was denied. But he scans here, makes sure that this base is not a factor, and now pulls back. He gets one base. Will Creator be able to get a base in return? Bunny's got to be cautious. He knows this is coming because he did not see the army responding at all to his army, to his force. As he cloaks up the ghosts, runs them about a little bit. 18 probes going down. Man, damage being done again. Shots over here from a Liberator that now gets cleaned up, but the probe count has been taking an absolute battering. And so we are going to be seeing the Vikings going to one-shot down the mothership. Thank you very much. Storms are zoning, but understandable that Creator is feeling a little scared. That Terran army, if it gets on top of you, here's the Protoss. Probably just going to wipe the floor with you. I think Bunny's army is very powerful. Creator's actually maxing out on army, so he's 150 army supply. Massive army from Creator. But is not going to have as much economy to rebuild with from here, so needs to really start winning fights. This is where Bunny might benefit even more from kind of splitting up a little bit. Disruptor is actually going to get killed off by this little group of units as well. A couple Marines will go down. So many carriers. Game slowing once more as Bunny does not really find a way to attack just yet. These few Stalkers are going to go harass themselves, get rid of some static defense. Missile turrets are minerals you can drain out of the game. Bunny trying to expand top right and in the bottom left. I love the double expanding. We saw from Bunny his ability to kind of deny the double expanded attempts of Creator was really effective. If Creator can't do the same, then Bunny's going to start taking even more of an economic advantage, which is already pretty big, kind of in his favor. It's just going to be an instant jump on this Nexus again. There's units on the low ground, but not enough to really justify coming through. Bio going to have to go stim back against those Stalkers, protect the Vikings. Oh, we didn't get the base though, so the base will live. We're going to try and nuke onto the army as this carrier force continues to chase through. Oh, the nuke's still coming. If Bunny had actually just turned around forward and just kind of scared Creator back, this actually had some potential. This was a very cool nuke position that Creator just never thought to check on. Well, maybe Creator knew not to go backwards as well, but he had no reason to go back any sooner as well. EMP is so important here. We need to EMP any potential High Temple. It's so hard to see if there's High Temple under this army or not. Like, even we can't see it easily as a spectator. Makes this very tough as the Viking count super high at this point as well. Forward base maybe in a little bit of trouble. Carrier gonna come and save the day. Turns out one ghost can't save us there. And Bunny gonna start relocating back over the left-hand side. 20 minutes in one of this best of 5 super important matches. And that's kind of being shown in the way that this game is setting up so far. Just both players not making anything too crazy of a play, right? Both players being fairly calm and collected. Just trying to make sure they don't just throw it all away on one bad fight. The potential to go 1-0 up in this series. Every map is going to be very difficult to gain. and is so important in your campaign for the Esports World Cup attendance. More libs coming out, the nuke on the way, 3 more gateways building from Creator. He spends a bit more of his money. 57 probes, but has still actually been able to amass a decent bank. It's still less than Bunny's, but he has larger army supplies standing on the map, remember? That's one thing that Creator has in his favor is Ghost takes some shots, and we are just going to see this Terran Force coming back over here. I think on this base, Stimmin again, it's actually a lot of HP off the bio units already. Gotta stay clear of those disruptors. That's one way to lose a lot of your bio quickly and end up in a bad time. I was gonna say, do we have any High Templar right now? We actually don't have any High Templar currently. No Storms available. Seems kind of crazy. Playing against this amount of Vikings, we lose the bottom left base. Craig's gonna go for the top right. Bunny would still be ahead on bases if this was to be a 1-for-1 base trade. So I don't think Bunny's too upset if this is how it goes. The Planetary Fortress survives quite a while. Nuke lands, doesn't do too much. Disruptor does a good bit of zoning. We cannot get forwards here with the Vikings to start picking off carriers. So we do go base for a base, but I think, like I say, Bunny should still be okay with that because he has the top right corner base mining and he has that bottom left base setting up as well. Those are both locations which Creator is not able to match symmetrically across the map just yet. So yeah, Bunny will go base for a base. Because Creator will run out of resources first if they trade anything close to kind of similarly to one another. Gonna kill off a couple of our own medevacs here, free up supply. Now Bunny's army is going to be about a similar size to Creator's, 140 army supply apiece. Massive armies, big banks stacked up. Base super far bottom left goes down. That would have been really crazy if Bunny was able to take both corner bases. Creator finishes up +3 air weapons as well, so his carriers just got even better. Our Liberator count is growing as we have 4 more in production, and Bunny is really closing in on this maxed out army. Game settling one more time. I'm gonna grab ourselves a little cheeky PT there. Get that off. Gonna get the DT. All these Liberators setting up. Fire comes through, Nexus goes down, Prism and +2 air armor continuing by. This carrier force back up through the center. See our Archon's picking through some of those missile turrets. The Viking force is going to really try and catch some of these carriers here. Doesn't want to go too far forwards on their own, and obviously the disruptors dissuade you from continuing. Another bunch of probes are dead, but we're just replacing it with more army supply. Creator will build as large of an army as he possibly can. That seems to be his goal right here, as the MPs on those Archons would absolutely melt them. The Archons will melt the Vikings if they get given the chance to fire, which they very nearly did there. Vikings still chasing, carriers taking a few more shots, Stalkers still hanging around. Our DT building as well. 6 Vikings on the way up. 2-3 probes continue to come around. Lib still on the move. Another disruptor shot fires. You can see Creator still making a push up to the top. The missile turrets going down. The orbital floating. Gonna siege up those Liberators. Disruptor shot not gonna go off there. Liberators are still firing. Archon's going down too. Bunny can't keep that forward base up. Creator's now expanding in the bottom left corner next to that base of Bunny, which is also in that direction. Bunny sieges up the Liberators, says, no, you're not fighting into me. I told you guys we could actually have some cool late game duels. I will say I'm surprised. I think Bunny's actually played the better game than Creator, despite it going to the phase of the game where I thought Creator was going to be a bit more dominant. So despite that, Bunny has been... I feel like Bunny was just in control early though, right? Like, I guess it's also still what I said, because while this is typically where Creator's more comfortable, Bunny did take control early so that he's been able to keep controlling the game. And while it's slowing down now, it's always been Bunny taking the extra bases. Bunny's got the extra setup now. This is a lovely attack from Coretta. He's going to go top right with a bunch of units. He's going to go bottom left with a bunch of units. DPS on this planetary is huge. Although as we lost to DT, it nearly wasn't enough to stay alive. Now nothing fighting back. We're going to try and come down here. A lot of SCVs going down. The Liberators just going to fly into this. The Libs actually targeting down the carriers. I thought they may want to go for some interceptors, but we're just going to go carrier after carrier. The Vikings will stand and fight. There's basically no anti-air. 1 or 2 Archons underneath. Every single carrier will fall. This is going to be a big rebuild, but who has the more money to rebuild with? It is absolutely Bunny, as he is going to have the ground army now showing up as well. And without the carriers in the sky, the ground army will look great. Bunny just lost a lot of bases, so he doesn't have a lot of mining, although he does have mules. He does have some minerals to mine off of. Like I say, Bunny had the larger bank to begin with as well, as he now goes for this Nexus bottom left. We'll grab that. 26.5 minutes in, we saw the decisive fight. Predator spends all of his gas, now pretty much can only warp in Zealots, which is not ideal. Bunny going to try and relocate to this bottom left base, get an orbital there. These orbitals might want to try and go back to the top right. Creator trying to re-expand. This base hasn't really been mined from yet from Creator either. Creator's actually pushing forwards with an army. He believes he's got enough to go, and he is going to jump on a lot of Bunny's units that are just not protected by reinforcements. Liberator sieging up, but they're getting jumped on too, and Creator is breaking through up the center of the map. The Vikings trying to get rid of that Colossus. The Ghosts are kind of out of energy. They can't do much. The Liberators can't really justify sieging on top of all these units, and Bunny, 27 minutes in, I feel like he's played a beautiful game, but it looks like Creator might have just broken him with this attack through. He is going to break him, isn't he? Oh, Bunny. What a heartbreaker, because like I say, to me, I really think that Bunny played the better game. I think he set himself up better, he mined more, he gave himself a better everything. He clearly just did not do well enough on that bottom left-hand fight, and that's going to be where it all comes crashing down around him. And that is going to be Creator with a big win. Now, it's not all completely done. Creator does have a better mining base down there. Okay, Bunny has this base as well, he's muling it. Bunny's only 15 army supply behind, so it's not completely done just yet. We're not there just now. We might go on a little bit longer still. 30 probes for Creator, though, to 15 SCVs. Obviously, mules will do a lot to make up that difference. You can see as the mules drop, the income advantage stays in Bunny's favor. Yeah, Bunny just lost a lot of army supply. Army supply is going to even up again now. The question will be, is it teched up enough? There's a lot of disruptors. Obviously, disruptors are so annoying to deal with. No, the Ghosts, they do lift back up. There's not many Stalkers. The Libs are probably better than ever right now. It's a gas issue for Creator. He doesn't have the gas to really afford too many Stalkers. And he just needs to figure out a way to actually come through and to fight against this army. It's not easy. More Stalkers warping in, realizing Libs might be the issue. We scan, we see the right side base. What are we going to do about that? Send a Ghost over there, apparently. Do we have a nuke? We have a nuke. So he's going to try and nuke the mining base of Creator, but now Creator has 2 mining locations. Denying this base, which is where Bunny was mining from, was a huge hit to Bunny's economy. A lot of the income advantage will dissipate. Some of it was mules, some of it is just that base that was actually able to mine. Nuke launches to the far right. The Libs would love to siege up and take position. Creator's army is actually not good in a straight-up fight if you can force the fight, but forcing the fight isn't easy because the disruptors will keep you away from it. This Ghost is going to get... well, it kind of nukes itself, but I mean, he was going to die to the DT anyway, unless he cloaked instantly. Liberators are the way you can kind of slowly push forwards and take advantage. I love that. Gets a Stalker or 2. Just using these Libs to kind of push this position. And again, Creator's army is not super high-tech, so Bunny... Oh, he's a disruptor shot there. Bunny is still, honestly, in possibility. He just needs to keep edging the Libs forward slowly. I actually think he's going to be okay. Get on top of this base. His army, like I said, in a straight-up fight wins. It's just getting into a straight-up fight. But the Libs can kind of force that by slow pushing the position, or at least force Creator to look elsewhere. Trying to take bases top right now might take some of Creator's attention away, or force DTs at the very least. Stalkers are going to go off on a journey, leaving the Disruptors to try and buy time. I think with this amount of Libs, the back 2 should be unsieging and repositioning slightly. I feel like this is a little bit too slow going, like... Yeah, okay, like these 2, yeah, that works. Just push a little bit further up. That's the power of your army. With 5 Libs, you should be able to kind of, 3 siege should still be enough to deter a kind of push in. Once the Disruptor zoning the bio back, giving the Stalkers potentially a chance to jump on the Libs, but that's going to be the kind of juggling game that they play here as we have a base bottom left trying to come from Bunny 2. Stalker Disruptor going to go around the side, potentially look to pick off reinforcements. Bunny's just going to unsiege, and he realizes what's happening. Sets up the Libs. Are they jumpable by these Stalkers? I'm not sure. He's going to have an orbital here that's getting chased down. Actually going to turn into this fight. This disruptor shot is good for a couple of units. Bunny's army supply about 5 in the lead at the moment. Very close. Obviously, Kraid is now trying to utilize the mobility of his army versus the sieging factor of the Liberators. If Bunny can't fight without the Libs being sieged, then this sort of scenario is huge. As Mule wants to repair, and he is going to get the repair off on that orbital command. And then it gets blown up by a disruptor anyway. Creator keeps this base, but it's not really mining, so it's not that big of a deal. Like I say, he's just trying to abuse the fact that Bunny is super reliant on the Liberators currently. Gonna try and come down here. We'll get rid of this orbital. Like I said, Bunny has the top right at the very least. But counts it back up. We're actually going to go drop this base. To be fair, Creator has nothing here, but he can recall to this position. But a recall has to be very well placed in terms of number of units. Oh, we're going to EMP it before you can recall. Absolutely has to EMP it. EMP it and then... Yeah, good. Okay, that's a huge denial. There's not even a pylon here, just to put into kind of perspective. We're actually going to try and recall the probes, because to be fair, at this point, losing probes is an expensive rebuild as well. Korea's going to try and push the issue. A lot of Libs not sieged on the left-hand side. The few Libs that got sieged, though, they shelled away at those Stalkers, and Crater is still having issues breaking through. Absolute chaos here in this game one. 32 minutes on site Delta. These two are absolutely playing their hearts out as a disruptor shot fires, but will not quite be able to catch. Army coming back across. Liberators will siege again. Disruptor's going to get shot down. Stalker Zealot will move up to the top side where he can try and jump on top of something. Zealot's going through. The disruptor shot firing. A ghost or two going down. The Libs try and take positions. Bio. Anytime you just get in the bio to jump on top of the Stalkers is great. And I actually love the chase here because the Disruptors went the other direction, so it's an easy opportunity to actually get some of the Stalkers. And I like that a lot. And that makes a lot of sense. Lib's actually going to take the chance to siege up here as well. Stalker's going to try and get a couple of those Libs. Disruptors pushing back. Lib's going a little bit too adventurously far forwards there, I think. One or two of them. But we're taking trades as Bunny, and I think if you're taking trades, you got to be somewhat okay with it. Stalker, Zealot, Disruptor still moving about. The Lib's going to have to back away. We lose one. That's still the one thing that Creator is trying to take advantage of here. Disruptor shot fires. A couple of ghosts in the bio army backing it up. The rest of this army still moving around. Just going to go towards the orbital. The rest of the bio moving about as well. This bio is kind of on its own. Does not want to eat the Disruptor shot. We lose Marauders here. Disruptor goes down, however. Now a bottom left base. This one that survived earlier still mining. But Bunny has the top right mining. And that's a huge deal. Being able to mine off the top right is a massive factor. As this Disruptor shot goes for the Ghost and the Marauder. Bottom left base just going to have to lift off and relocate as well. Stalkers push up. Planetary Fortress gets into action. Stalkers, Zealots, Disruptors continue to come about. They settle down. Liberator and more Ghosts on the way through. Orbital Command is going to retreat. Hey guys, if you're just coming out of ads, I want to say sorry that you had ads. I did everything I could to delay them, but super long game. We only get so many snoozes, so we can only turn them off so many times, so there's only so much I could really do there. So, yeah, unfortunately, they just played. Sorry. Literally nothing else I could do about it. Sorry for that. I know it wasn't accurate timing. 35 minutes deep, though, and Bunny is getting further and further ahead on army supply. The base of mining is huge. He's got I love that he's now getting drops elsewhere to kind of put some pressure on Creator again. I think that's such a huge factor, right, to actually start picking away at his opponents. Because that's something he couldn't really afford to do before, but now as the armies get larger, you can afford to do it again. So the Terran army gets into some better strength once again. Now, this is the base you want to hit. This one right here. That is the mining location. Creator has been too... The funny thing is, Creator, obviously, you look at these Stalkers, like, well, you could have made some of those into better tech units, but he's had to make each of these Stalkers to survive up until this point, so he's never really had the money to afford to go into anything better. When we scan this location, Bunny is going to drop even a few probes. Talked about it before, but probes are not cheap to replace. Just going to drop here. We could EMP the Nexus, and that means the Nexus likely goes down. Creator's going to dive the top right. Two Liberators here will not last long. And he probably gets rid of this base too, as the mining is going to be denied from both players. Libs are going to start sieging from afar. Disruptor finds a ghost. The orbital survives, so that at least we'll be able to relocate very easily. And this base goes down. Probes are actually long distancing. They need to be careful. Like I say, every worker counts for so much right now. It's actually Kratos' army supply that takes a bit of a lead as Bunny comes forwards, and he's going to find, I mean, this base, he activates overcharge. Okay. I'm not sure what that overcharge is meant to heal, but I think that's just a panic moment from Creator, trying to do anything and everything. He's running out of bases. I love the scans, but he's like, I'm just trying to make sure you've really got nothing left. And then Bunny, if he can just hold this top right base, would be in an advantage. We actually recall here. We die for the Nexus, we don't get it, but honestly, it's only 2 probes mining 90 minerals. I guess this Nexus gives you long distance mining more easily on this location, and maybe that's what we're fighting for at this part of the game. Marines and refineries still setting up. To say, Bunny's realizing the top right is super important. The only issue is he can't give up his main. He can't give up production. You're not rich enough to rebuild production. So that's an issue as well. Stalker's getting underneath the orbital command. Is going to get jumped on. That will be killed. So the orbital drops down. I mean, every orbital you get rid of is less meals. Oh, what if we trap this army, though? What if we trap this army from 2 different sides, maybe even 3 different sides? Liberation should try and deny you going up into the natural. No, we're going to go for it. Oh, I kind of like the idea from Bunny, but now if your opponent actually gets into the natural / main, it's going to become impossible for you to actually dive in. Disruptors able to zone. We're actually going to go chasing this portion of the army. We blink. I don't love the blink so much. Again, Bunny has more units elsewhere as he is going to try and come in with this now. The Liberator is obviously quite clearly missing. The Disruptor shot is big. That might be enough to change things, although we're going to lose every single Disruptor. Now it's only really Stalkers. The Femur Marauders will put in some work. The Zealots will try and tank. We need units here. Bunny needs anything he can get. Stalkers will be chased down. Creative supply is plummeted. Oh my god, he had a good Disruptor shot, but it just wasn't good enough. All the Libs are left in the top right to try and deny that base from being attacked. And Bunny wins it without the Liberators in the army, killing the Disruptors. Creator has no mining. He has no gas to make new Disruptors. All he can make is Zealots. Right now, that's good enough, though, to chase this army away because it's only bare bones bio. We're going to turn. We're going to get another Stalker. Medevac's dying. The Liberator is still protecting this mining base. Bunny scans. He needs to know that he's got his opponent completely on the verge of being all in, and that this was game winning. That he's not mining something, that he's not building up again. He needs to know if he needs to make a kill move or if he's okay to sit. And he is, in fact, okay to sit. Creator's going to try and make a kill move on this top right base. When he sees the Liberators are still there, at least 4 of them, that's not an engageable position. And that's immediately just going to be like, nope, you cannot come over here, you cannot hit this base. That's exactly what Bunny was playing for, protecting that base, having denied his opponent's bases. 39 minutes on Site Delta as more Liberators are sieging. The bio continue to come through. The Stalker Zealot in the bottom corner. Well, that's all you've got left. He scans this base as the only base Bunny did not see yet. And he scans it, and the Stalker's just going to blink in. Going after these Libs. SCVs will pull because this is Creator completely all in. Every Stalker that dies is irreplaceable, as it's going to be more than good enough. Now there's 2 Stalkers versus the world as Creator will very likely try to stay this as long as possible. We repair the Liberator, and these 2 Stalkers will go down. I think Creator GG's. What a game. 39 minutes and 40 seconds for Bunny to win Site Delta, but he gets a very well-deserved 1-0 lead in the bottom left-hand side. I mean, another map as well, just before we get into it, but another map where maybe we could actually really see a longer game kind of break through. Could be very interesting. In the bottom left, though, our red Terran player, this is Bunny. As we have got in the top right-hand side, the blue Protoss player, Creator. So, game number 2 of our series. And Bunny leading 1-0 at the moment. Getting this underway. Let's see what happens to get underway. Alright, well, gateway and barracks on the way up as we get started out for a couple of moments. We get things settled in. SCV is actually going to gang up on this probe. Woohoo! Probe actually takes a lot of shots as the double SCV combo. And he gets there. And we just have ourselves the probe backing away. Yeah, Europe is later today, guys. Europe is in about 4.5 hours from now. So that'll be coming up in a little bit. As that probe continues to the upper right. Nexus, Warp Gate, Depth, probe, Assimilator, all coming through. In the meantime, and get this all rolling. That probe continues to the top right. Getting back home here. I'm pretty happy with some initial scouting that was done in the earliest stages. What's up, Motorshoe? Thank you so much for the Prime for the 3 months. Welcome back. Really appreciate it. Hope you're doing great. And yeah, React coming up on this barracks factory is starting through as well. Again, the winner of this is qualified into the closed qualifier. The loser will have one more chance. We'll play against the loser of Shin versus Stats. For also the final slot into the closed qualifier from the South Korean Open qualifier. And yeah, Europe is later today, and then Asia and Americas are tomorrow. So Asia and Americas tomorrow if you're into that. That's our Proby's Chrono Booster into all accounts coming up. Depth goes for the Marine. Marini boy is running, and gets to live. And Depth Shade brings it back. Obviously, big reset. We had a little bit of time between the matches, but big reset in general to go from kind of this big matchup of, you know, Site Delta, super long game, to now resetting and kind of coming in fresh, new new game, early game start. Bunny played very greedy in that last game, played triple CC. Does that, push Creator towards maybe 4-gate blinking? Does Bunny risk doing that a second time? Well, we already see no, he's double gassing it right now. He's got way too much gas to go triple CC, so a lot to kind of think on based on what happened last time and what's, potentially going to happen here instead. Bunny's stretching up big time, though. Raven on the way. The Adepti is going to try and chase that Hellion, but the Hellion has the speed to create the gap necessary on the Shade. That blink is about halfway done here currently. Green Cyclone still gathering together, holding out in the Watchtower. Interference Matrix is building as well. Maybe having ourselves the Siege Tank coming up, and Barracks building, extra Marines coming in. Again, just getting that Prism on the way up. Our Marines in the Cyclone going to be continuing to gather up on the Natural, moving in towards the main. As he just dropped 2 more barracks in, so we are ready to go into that next step. Prism on the way, but this is 3 gateways. It's not as aggressive as it could be. It's not as fast of an expansion as we saw last time either. I like Bunny's setup a lot, actually, for a more aggressive blink play. He's going to have a bunker low ground, tank production already. We'll have the Raven to potentially either harass with or just help defensively with an auto turret as well. And our Marines and our Siege Tank continue to come through. And yeah, that blink is about to finish up on the side of Creator, so we get blink finished up. Our Observer and our battery on the way. The Prism still moving down through the center, going past the Watchtower on the go. And a couple of these Stalkers going to come along with it as our Barracks continues to come in. +1 attack will start. The Siege Tank is in production, and all these Stalkers of Creator setting up to push onto the front of the Natural. Alien will go and will kill the Probe, so we'll be able to take that out. It's a nice one, delaying the third base attempt of the Protoss player during this is really nice as our Stalkers continue to gather in together. Stalkers blink up, and we're actually going to get rid of the Stim, so Stim gets denied. Bio's still fighting here, a couple of these Stalkers are still taking shots, another Stalker taking some hits as well. Stim pack +1 continue to come through. And again, our Nexus and our Temple Archives continues by as well. There's another CC just dropping down into place on the main base. The extra depot just going to come through as well. Again, still got Stim Combat and +1 coming about for the moment. Cyclone already locks on, and we are going to be seeing the Prism. There's going to be taking a lot of shots. Cyclone gets denied. The Raven and the Marines coming about. Storm is coming up. So we keep bringing that Storm through. A couple of additional gateways are coming about as well. Battery moves across, reactor will drop down. We do have ourselves the extra barracks still building from Bunny, as again that storm coming about, the charge is on the way, Nexus about to finish building. And yeah, guys, Korean players are not the qualifiers are all region locked to your kind of region. Like, this is the qualifier for Korean players. The European qualifier is only for European players, etc. It's all linked to your EPT regions for this event. It's not server qualifiers. Usually we call them server qualifiers if it's like anyone can play, but this one's on the Korean server, the next one's on the European server. These are straight up regional qualifiers. That's going to be the second time that Tech Lab dies. It is so close. Combat Shields was a second away. Nice pickoff then from Creators. He does lose the obs. He's going to pay for this with some Stalkers. At least we didn't build Stim on the same Tech Lab. We built Stim on the one that was deeper in. So Stim does get to finish. Combat Shields will restart. All of those Stalkers die. Like I say, not cheap from Creator to kind of do that. You look at what's lost in this game. Very low amount of units on the side of the Terran. A Cyclone and a Hellion don't count so much either because they're kind of, you know, really just early game units anyway. And then 7 Stalkers died on the side of Creator. Now we force a recall as well. We're going to get 2 probes and force the recall. Stim available, so we're actually going to fight. Stalkers have to blink back defensively already. Actually, still going to fight. We're still going to get rid of a Stalker. We're out of reach of the super battery. Multiple Stalkers dying. What a drop from Bunny. 5 probes. Recall used. Stalkers having to blink. And Stalkers dying. And now a big push up the top. Creator's not being able to kind of focus up back over here. We do have the Prism set up. We have Storms available, and Storms will be a huge part of defending against this. The Zealot count wants to be able to break on through and come on into this as well. We start to pull backwards. Auto turret's going down already. Bunny is very aware of what he wants to do. The Storm drops immediately. What can the tanks get rid of here? I feel like there's a lot more Storms available still as Bunny. This kind of push does not typically fare well against the Storm drops, which is kind of, or just Storm in general, which is exactly what you're seeing. It's struggling, but he's still trading decently. I love the Widow Mines retargeting multiple times, finally getting some shots off. A little bit of micro trying to, you know, set all of that up as well. As our Bioforce continues to pull down, we got ourselves the +1 armor about to finish. Viking, Marine Marauder all coming through. We do warp in another chunk of Zealots, bringing those about as our bio still setting up. And just going to stem forward. Zealot Stalker just going to come about here. I mean, Bunny, I think with 1-1 upgrades should be okay against this. It's the Storms that are terrifying. Storm does not care about upgrades. Widow Mines don't care about upgrades either, but they will just chunk through the Zealots. So far, the Storms on this fight have not been that good, right? They've missed. They've hit a couple of units only. They've only hit for a tick or two. They've not hit the full kind of duration. We actually have to keep pushing into our own Storms. Is that good enough? A warping comes through here. Obviously, Bunny's starting to give a position on his third base, so that isn't a pretty scenario. There's still Storms available to zone Bunny further out. SCVs are thinking about whether they want to actually commit to pulling through. Still Storms available. This time we dive forwards. We're going to get the Prism just about. One more Storm drops in. No Bunny supply is honestly still holding on. He loses so many SCVs, but his actual army supply is very good. Oh, it's so frustrating though. 3 Immortals are very good against those Marauders. We're going to chase now. We get a High Templar. A couple of Zealots will go down, but he needs to start rebuilding the SCV count here as he will want to get rid of this army. There's no retreat potential because we got rid of the Prism. Can we get rid of these tech units? We play the dancing game back and forth. We want to try and avoid Storms. Bunny's extremely cautious playing the chasing game. He's just reluctant to really commit to it. A wild little fight across the board there, honestly. As we do wrap it up. +2 attack is still on the way. As Bunny gets that going, still maintaining an upgrade lead. Only just now seeing the Forge finishing on the side of Creators, so we'll have that upgrade potential for himself very soon. Prism still chilling out. We're just going to see our bio coming across, chasing down some Stalkers. Widow Mine shot, bang, bang, and 2 Stalkers go down immediately. The Marauder's still chasing, the Stalker's getting hunted. And that Bioforce is able to push that all the way away. Extra Stalkers coming through. And again, Vikings, Marines, Ghost, +2 attack, all of that continuing in as well. Army of Bunny still setting up. We are going to see the Stalkers there, able to pick off a Widow Mine as well. Prism setting up overhead. Our Bioforce on the right side. Big recall as we bring a lot of units back home. +1 attack. The next coming through. The battery and the cannon continuing up as well. We'll just bring a lot of this into play. Fire Army wants to drop into the main, but there's already Stalkers here. We are going to get 3 of the units out of that medevac that goes down. Going to turn that into a couple of kills. The Zealot that warps in. Going to go down. We're actually going to deny the Forge. It's actually a pretty good drop if you get the Forge, I think. And absolutely worth committing to. We're going to lose everything, but it's not for free. Like I say, we're going to get rid of another Stalker, a couple of those Zealots, and we are going to take position on the 4th base as well as Bunny jumps up over here. 4th base is going to go down, and Creator losing a base like that is going to be costly. Stalker blinks and gets out. A couple of probes still going down to those Marines. Also going to continue to chase in. Marines will go down. Cleanup is made. Couple more Widow Mines coming about. A couple Stalkers coming in. Widow Mine firing. Widow Mine shot again. Stalkers just blink out of there. I mean, Creator's basically setting up to kind of commit to this fight, but down a full 2-1 set of upgrades. Not a ton of splash damage. Obviously, Stormers are something you're very reliant on here. Liberator will get a couple of initial shots off. Zealots will melt when they run forwards. +2 attack against no armor is brutal. Storms continue through. The Vikings just going to commit for the prison. We do run into those Storms on the bio front as well. But honestly, as the last Storms get used, I feel like we've still got enough just to send this forwards. And one Colossus is probably not going to change too much. We're going to pull SCVs as well because I think Bunny realizes that his opponent is completely all in, completely committed here. Don't chase the Colossus too hard, maybe. We got a little bit caught up. We lose a lot of SCVs, and Creator is once again going to be ahead on a lot of workers, but just no follow-up beyond that. And that is going to do it. That is going to be GG's, and Bunny is going to take the 2-0 lead over Creator in this best of 5. So, we have got in the top left-hand side of the blue Protoss player. This is Creator. In the bottom right, our red Terran. Up 2-0. We have Bunny. So, our series resumes here. Bunny up 2-0, and Creator looking to try and win 3 in a row to just qualify without having to play stats in that best of 5 PvP. That's dangerous, man. Stats is very good. PvP is a good matchup for him, honestly. I mean, I wouldn't really like to be either of those guys in a PvP best of 5. Esports World Cup hopes on the line, but it's likely going to be how it goes. We'll see if, like I said, Creator can bring it back on this one, though, as we drop an engineering bay down. And a probe comes across. SCVs will take some nibbles. Yeah, we're going to have a pretty quick probe pull against this, so there shouldn't be too much of a delay. As Creator will start his Cybercore. A little late, admittedly. But yeah, he'll be able to cancel up his engineering bay and then get that Nexus ready to go. Again, Bunny just trying to kind of put things into play early. Take control of things early on. The earlier he takes control of things and messes things up for his opponent, the better off I think Bunny is pretty much always going to end up being. So I like that. Even something as simple as an engineering bay block. Force the probes to pull, force him to kind of play onto your kind of terms already. SCV's moving about. Reactor and the command center coming in as well. Keep that going. Well, the Nexus built on that natural again. CC Factorial coming up. SCV's coming through. The Adept and the Warp Gate coming up as well. We bring all of that out right now. Just going to be seeing our sentry coming about. Warp Gate coming in. The probe and the Nexus continue to build. Again, factory and command center coming through. The couple Marines still building. A bunker on the front of the natural coming up as well. Let's get all of that on the way for the moment. Looking beautiful. Now, factory about to finish up here from Bunny. That factory finishes. Starport's on the way. Orbital Command coming up as well. Hellion popping out. Twilight Council, Probe, Stalker, Warp Gate. All of that continues on through. So, Twilight Council for a third game in the row. Creator's going to stick to the Blink-based openings. He's not afraid of playing Blink, it seems, even if it didn't go too well just yet. I mean, his openings have not exactly been great. His openings have led to the momentum and the advantage being had by Bunny, and Creator being the one continuing to, Creator's, Bunny's being able to kind of control the early games, put himself in good positions, and Creator's been kind of lagging behind. And add the 2 gates against the 3-gate blink as we saw last time. Again, Bunny doing something different. We've not seen a just straight up kind of Widowmine drop yet, if I'm not mistaken, and this seems to be that this time around as the Hallucination gets the full scout. He's going to see pretty much everything here, so good information gained from our Hallucination. As our Medevac and another mine about to pop out, and they will get ready to load up and go straight across the map. Try and find some opportunities. Probe facility coming up, a couple of simulators halfway done, Blink's halfway done as well. Probe gets ready to drop the Nexus down onto that third base. The Bunny drop gonna go in toward the natural expansion. Just gonna linger behind the mineral line for now, which is not a terrible thing either. Yeah, there's only the Stalker and Sentry in the mineral line, so that actually is not a bad thing to commit, I don't think, as that Widow Mine is going to target kaboom kaboom. As part of this, we save both, so now you can linger behind the mineral line and come back in again later. Definitely works in a big way towards keeping the Protoss player back at home and wary of that Widow Mine drop, rather than giving them the freedom to kind of come back through and to do anything else about it. As again, Stimpack and Combat Shield coming through, Starport working on the reactor here, the Immortal is on the way from the Robo facility. All of those upgrades continue through. Our Medevacs in production as well. The Marine's going to pop out. They're going to go forwards and they're going to go straight after this Adept. Adept is going to take quite a few shots. Adept is going to die. So Adept will fall. Stimpack, Combat Shield, and +1 attack coming through. Medevacs, Marines, and Marauders coming up. Our Hallucination still overhead. Widow Mine's still popping. As a few Marines jump back into the bunker. Two Stalkers blink underneath the Widow Mine drop up here. That's actually good damage onto the Medevac. May not kill it, but it is going to likely seal the deal on its death a bit further down the line. So that is a good pickoff. It's very nicely done. Puts you in a much stronger position than you might have otherwise been. Again, extend thermal length and charge. Continue to come through. And if that comes around the top, Widow Mine's going to come dropping straight in. Creator's aware of it because he blinks, but he is going to still pull the probes kind of slow, but it's working. It's fine. Widow Mine's just going to get left here this time. Medevac's too low to go back for them, so this time we will just leave those back. And as both those mines are going to get picked off. Medevac's actually going to come back through, so now it's the double drop that heads into the main. And Bunny's already setting up elsewhere as well. He's going to find the Robo Bay. No extended thermal lance for you. His drops have been so good in these games, and it's going to cause such a distraction. I feel like the main push towards the third is going to find huge success as well. If we get the gas, we can still lift up and leave. It's a bunch of sentries here, but Creator's just not watching that position. One sentry goes down. The second and third will survive until the Widow Mine shots, which at least is a bit of time bought. Super Battery Occupancy active. That wasn't actually as good as I thought it might be for Bunny, as the sentries just lasted a long time under the healing. I think if he'd actually target fired, he would have had both sentries easily, maybe even the Immortal. He had enough there to out DPS the battery. It was just that the army was split on what it was firing at. Last few Marauders going down. Medevac's going to try and boost into the main base against this. Drop comes back in. Zealots were already warping in. However, no charge, and they're going to get a little bit choked up as well. 3 Zealots go down without killing anything. Here comes a Colossus trying to save this day. Can we actually load this army back up? I'm not sure if we can actually escape with it, because the Stalkers would blink underneath and do exactly that, kill the Medevacs off. Creator going to be in trouble on the natural now. The Robo facility is here. That could be a great target. Actually could have maybe got the pylon, would have been great. We actually get rid of the Zealots. We're actually still going to get the Robo facility, aren't we? Yes, we are, very easily too. So the tech structure's going down. Robo Bay died. Now the Robo Facility died. What a huge rebuild that would have to be. Fourth base in trouble as well, as Bunny does what Bunny does best, which is dropping all over the place, multitasking, taking momentum and maintaining momentum. And he has done that brilliantly here so far in this Game 3, looking to extend this 2-0 lead into a full-on 3-0 victory. Well, extra gates coming up, the Robo Facility rebuilding, the reset here from Creator as he tries to get back on track, but Bunny has the 1-1 upgrades. At least +1's finishing from Creator this time. Didn't lose the Forge like he lost in the last game. Just have the forces pressing through. Armory still coming online. The command center starting up. Marines and Ghosts continuing in. Bunny down by about 5 workers, but that's absolutely manageable. Again, that fourth base delayed for Creator was a big deal. Bunny's own fourth will come in a pretty similar time now. Obviously not building on location, but getting that CC up, morphed into whatever it wants to be. If it wants to orbital it up before it moves into position, or more likely moves into position, then becomes a planetary on location. Getting that ready to go as Bunny comes up the right-hand side. Pops the Widow Mine down, bit of bio, just going to pull it back. Creator at least will get a chance to stabilize, albeit on a lower tech army. I mean, right now his tech is what? Bellingham +1. He does actually still have the 2 Colossus alive from before, but he needs to restart Extended Thermal Lance. So that's absolutely one thing he needs to do ASAP. I'm just going to move up. We're actually going to get a little bit of damage here. The super battery will not last too long. It will go down. And there's Bunny. Tries to set up the Widow Mine. We'll try and chase down those Colossus. He's going to get another one. I don't think the Stalker saved that Colossus. They don't get rid of the Vikings in time. That is all the Vikings dead, and there is another Colossus showing up. I think this is good for Bunny, though. Resetting that Colossus count again and again. Again, just having Extended Thermal Lance not here. And Creator not finding a chance to build that, or just completely forgetting about it. Either way, that's not exactly great. Bunny comes through, he's going to stand in the Zealot's firepower for a couple moments. Now he kites back into his Widow Mines. The mine doesn't do too much. Scorp's got to be careful as they try and find value. 40 army supply down. Creator loses the energy on the sentries. They get EMP'd. He's now going to have to fight through his own... well, he's kind of choked himself up by running so far back. He has to come out into the open space where the Terran is already standing. As the Terran goes too far forwards, arguably the Zealot from the left side can create a bit of a wraparound, but I just don't know if the numbers are here for Creator's wraparound to be effective at all. And of course, Bunny can just kite back into those Widow Mines and then really deal with the Zealots extremely easily from there. This fight, the longer it goes, the more medevac energy gets used up, but Bunny is going to make a dive on that Colossus if he gets the chance. And again, without Extended Thermal Lance, the Colossus is going to be absolutely exposed time and time again. GG says Creator. Bunny 3-0s his way through to the closed qualifiers. And if he plays like that in the closed qualifiers, he is going to be one of the absolute favorites to move on through to the Esports World Cup. He played